With the recent release of Pokemon 151 came some awesome EX cards. We have those massive big hitters like Venusaur, Blastoise and Charizard, all the way down to that little Mew EX, which is a nice little techie card. But some of the cards in this set have been overlooked a little bit, and one of those that we're going to look at today is the Stage 1 Venomoth with that perplexing powder attack. Yes, it's only got 90 HP. Yes, it is a little bit, we'll say feeble, but with that perplexing powder attack, you confuse your opponent's active Pokemon and you stop them from using any item cards in their next turn. So let's jump in, let's have a look at the deck list and play some games and see how it performs. So this is a little bit of a different deck list that we're going to look at today. It is fairly standard. It's nothing that's going to change the meta massively. But we have got that Tarountula in there, and that Tarountula is only in there for the Spidops EX because that Trap Territory ability allows you to lock an active Pokemon in the active spot, so it can't get bent, it can't go back to the bench, stay in there. And what we can do is start to use this perplexing powder attack to stack 30 damage each turn onto that Pokemon, and it stops the opponent from being able to use any form of item cards. So against Charizard EX, they're not going to be able to use rare candies, Nest Balls, things like that. They're not going to be able to use, which is fantastic. But we have got the Venonat from 151 in here, which is a cute little Venonat card. It's got 70 HP, so it's not going to outlive too much. So if you've got them on the bench, be very, very careful. We've got the Manaphy, for obvious reasons, fairly standard tech card that we know about. We've got that Mew EX in there because sometimes you're going to quite low on deck cards. So we've got that restart ability, which allows you to draw another card, potentially 2, maybe even 3 if you've got no cards in hand. And it does have, which I didn't use at all, that genome hacking attack, which sounds pretty cool to be fair. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. So you can use that, quite cool, I like that. But the big tech card that we're using in this set is the Radiant Alakazam. And the reason for that is that ability, the Painful Spoons ability. Once during your turn, you may move up to 2 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of their Pokemon. So the idea of this deck is to lock a Pokemon in the active, hit it each turn for Perplexing Powders to put 30 on there, and then move those counters onto the bench Pokemon with Radiant Alakazam. So it's an interesting concept. We'll see how it gets on, but I do quite like the idea of this deck. We're playing 4 Battle VIP Pass, which I think is standard for anything with a lot of little basic Pokemon. Get those first turn. They're also good fodder later on for Ultra Balls and things like that. Crushing Hammer, because what we want to do is keep that Pokemon in the active as long as possible. So we can keep it in the active. They can keep slamming energies on it to try and get it out of the active. Crushing Hammer, I don't think we're going to get the best of luck. I'm not a massive fan of coin flip cards, but we'll see how we get on with it. We've got 3 Nest Balls, 2 Super Rod, because you are expecting these Venomoths, if you're not getting great luck on the coin flips, for the confusion, to get knocked out quite often. So the Super Rods are in there for that. We've got 2 Switch, because we have got 1 Pokemon with a 2 retreat cost, which could cause issues if they can boss that into the active. And we've also got the Spidops, which has got 2 retreat costs. So again, occasionally we might want to switch those in and out. And because we haven't got a massive energy count, we've only got 8 grass energies in here, we are going to need that switch every now and again. As I mentioned earlier, we've got the Ultra Balls. We've got Boss's Orders. We've got 4 of those in here because we are trying to cause the opponent lots and lots of issues. We've got Colress's Experiment, which is a big card I love to use. I don't just use it in Lost Zone boxes and things like that. I do quite like to use it to search out cards that I want. We've got Iono. We've got 4 Ionos in here, so we want to cause, as I've already said, lots of issues to the opponent. We want to mess around with their hand. 2 Research. We've got just the one of Double Turbo Energy, and again, if we can't get the switch, it's another switch option for the Radiant Alakazam or the Spidops, things like that. But there is another use for it. In some occasions, you may have a Pokemon that the opponent's got that's got a 3 retreat cost, and it only has 70 or 80 HP. I'll use the Flaffy as an example of this. It's got 2 retreat costs. Get it in the active, and we can start hitting it. But you're only going to get sort of 3, possibly 4 turns out of the Venomoth for that. So what we want to do is attach that double turbo to the Venomoth so it's only hitting for 10 damage. Which might sound counterintuitive, but what we want to do is get it up to about 70. Radiant Alakazam some of that damage onto their other Pokemon, and then we can hit for 10 next turn. Hit for 10, hit for 10, hit for 10, and we can still start moving that damage, and we've still got a nice beefy Pokemon in the active that they can't do anything with. The last card that we're going to have a look at in this deck list is Pokemon League Headquarters, because this ties everything together quite nicely. So attacks used by each basic Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's. It doesn't really affect us, because the only basic Pokemons that we're going to actually be using to attack with, potentially, we don't really very often, is the Radiant Alakazam and the Mew EX. Like I said, we're not going to be using those too often anyway. So it doesn't really affect us, but against decks like Miraidon, or generally decks with Entei, Raikou, things like that in play, it is going to cause issues, and it does mean that we can keep them in the active, don't allow them to attack. With that Spidops, they're also locked in the active, and we can keep slamming on damage counters and spreading the damage across the bench. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a look at a few games, see how we get on with the games, see if it's really a competitive deck that we can actually throw in and climb the rank ladder with. So let's jump into some of those games and see how we get on. Joys. Absolute joys. So there are... I don't like it. There's the coin, deck box and sleeves all had fire energies on, and I think I know at this point in the TCG and the current meta, we know exactly what we are going to be facing off against, and it's not the best of matchups for us, unless obviously... Come on. Really? Really? Are you going to do that to us? Unless it is the dark type Charizard, which I'm guessing it's probably not. So, at one of the worst mulligans I think I've ever seen. But we can get the Venonat, and we can get the Tarountula on the bench. And we are going second, if I remember rightly. Are we? I don't remember. Possibly. We're going first, which causes even more problems because we can't actually use... Oh, this deck, man. This deck. People actually play this competitively. Not worry the state of the TCG at the moment. And somebody looks at this, it is the dark type Charizard, so this is going to start hitting for quite a lot, which is good for us. Does mean we can get that out. However, we can start taking Charmanders and Charmeleons out quite early. That's going to help us a lot. It does look like they're probably going to stoke and pass. Means they're set up for the Arcanine next turn. We are going to have to start doing some damage soon. But we'll see. We'll see. There we go. Okay, not as terrible as I thought it would be for us, but they have got the Arcanine. Obviously that's going to cause us a lot of issues. I am feeling... Did they get rid of? Yes, okay, so they have a rare candy in hand, so we're going to Iono, which I don't like to do this early on, especially when they've got 5 cards, but I do know one of the cards they want is in hand. Unfortunately we couldn't have that last turn, but we are going to attach down here. We're going to get another one of those down, and we're going to evolve that. Where's my league headquarters? Do we want that? Not going to cause us any issues necessarily. We are going to Crushing Hammer. So I've got to attach return then. Hope. This is what it does to us. This game. Frustrating thing here as well is as soon as they evolve that Arcanine, that Growlithe into Arcanine, it's going to get rid of the status effects, which isn't best for us. I am down to 1 card in hand as well, which I wouldn't suggest you do. Oh, we've got boss as well, so they are going to boss in the Spidops. They are going to evolve, and they're going to hit it for the knockout. Ugh. It does pain me. Interesting, what does that do? Draw 2 cards. Okay. Interesting one. Not seen that in one of these decks before. Maybe I'm just not quite up to what's going on. Okay, we're not in the best of situations. We have lost the Spidops, but we have got another Nest Ball, which does allow us to get the Mew into play to draw 2 more cards. And obviously it is a big pivot card, but it is a liability at this point. But we do get that. So they aren't able to retreat at the moment, which is good for us. A lot of Charizard decks don't play an awful lot of out cards either. So what we can start doing soon, hopefully, is start spreading those damage counters that we're going to put on the Arcanine. We do have the slight issue of Charizard EX at some point soon. Why is it always this way? Why is it always the case? Always the case. Every single time. Without fail. What have we got in there? Okay. We need to Super Rod as soon as possible. We need to get those back in the deck. Always Mew. Unless we've got nothing to retreat into, which would be worrying. This is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Okay. What can we get from Coles? Can we have something decent, please? No. No, you can't, is your answer. We don't really need the switch with the Mew in play. Painful. This is painful. We don't. Oh, this is horrible. We don't want them to have the 2 prizes this early on in the game, really. So it's gonna have to be Venonat switch. Fingers crossed. They start hurting themselves because we have got Trap Territory, which does help a little bit. The opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost is 1 more, so the Arcanine sort of stuck in the active unless they use 2 of the energies from the what I imagine is going to be the soon to be evolved Charizard that's on the bench. Fingers crossed it's the Charizard EX, the dark type one, because every single time they're only taking 1 prize card. We're not out of this race yet. He tells himself. We're not out of this entirely yet. Okay. We have got, yeah, it has to be the Venonat. Trouble with this deck, if you don't get a good start, you are a little bit stuffed. It's going to have to be research as well, which I don't like to do. I really don't like to do it. Unfortunately, just the way it is. Does mean we can put that out in the active, which doesn't necessarily cause a lot of issues to us, but we are going to need those back, and we're going to need that Venomoth back. They're back in deck. We are going to retreat into the Tarountula and pass. This is horrible. We're going to be down to 1 prize card. Never mind. When you think a game is done, and you suddenly start easing prize cards out of the opponent's hand, something you should not do. Should not do with a deck like this, especially. We are going to Super Rod back in some of the boys that we need. So we are going to get one of those back. I think we need one of those and one of those back. Which is good for us. I have got 1 in hand. And it is a basic. Let's not forget that. So it can't attack yet. When it does, not retreating anytime soon, that's for sure. Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm going to get Colress back in. Obviously the next move is to them to keep their hand size down. We are going to attach another down here because we should be able to take that out soon. We are going to move these from this onto the Arcanine. And I think the best move is just to perplexing... I can't even say it now. Perplexing Powder. Never think you're out of the game. Otherwise, you'll get 7 minutes of a YouTube video. You'll stop for 2 minutes, and then you'll get 2 minutes of a YouTube video. So never ever give up, because this is the sort of thing that happens. We can get rid of that Kangaskhan's fire energy as well, which is great. It is stuck in the active for a little bit longer. And what we can start doing is moving energies. This is sort of the point of the deck. Start moving them onto that Arcanine because we have got 5 prize cards. So it is always possible. The fact that they passed also makes me think that Colress is probably... We don't really want to do anything, to be perfectly honest. Because that will put us in a bit of a predicament. So we are just going to perplexing Powder and pass. Let's add another P word in there just to make it even more difficult to say, shall we? Yeah, it's a deck that will definitely do a job. They are going to keep passing. We're going to get them up to about 4 cards, I think. And then I think the best thing to do is to Iono again. So we are going to back there again. The double turbo we're going to keep in hand. The Ultra Ball we don't need yet. Or everything else I'm happy with. So we are going to, again, flexing Powder and pass. What we do want to start doing soon, we can get another couple of prize cards taken. I think we're well back in this. I've only got 8 turns to do so though, so we'll see what happens. Got a Venomoth. Okay. We are going to do exactly the same again. Which is sort of the point of the deck. It does go on for a very, very long time. It does make things happen, but what we can start doing soon, start switching things around a little bit. Do I know at this point? How many cards have we got in hand? We've got 6 cards in hand, so we are going to put 1 back in the deck. So I don't think it's the time yet. I think a couple more. It does seem like they seem to be bricking quite quickly, which is great for us. Do want that Arcanine quite low, because we also want to take out... Okay, that's helpful at this point in the game, isn't it? Temple Spoons, move those onto that again. And then we can also... We will perplexing Powder and pass. Just recording. I'm recording. Nah. Okay. Keep doing the same. What's this currently hitting for? 30 damage for each energy in your opponent's tattoo. So that's hitting 60, 150 times 2. So we do need 30 on that as well. We can afford the perplexing Powder again. I do have a feeling that I also eventually could end up thinking I'm going to deck out, which is great. At the moment we are... Oh, come on. Can we do it? Can it be done? Can we get the energy off that? Yes, we can. We're going to cause more issues for them. We want to get rid of that. And then I think Yeah, Radiant Alakazam. Attach it to the Arcanine. We are getting to a point where that's going to get taken out soon, which is great. But we are also getting to that point in the game where Kangaskhan is getting close to knockout, so I do think the next move is to boss in the Buffalon. Okay. So, again. Still not getting knocked out, which is great for us. We are going to Perplexing Powder again, because we're safe at the moment. I've got 3 in deck as well. I imagine they probably have something useful in hand at this point. But we'll soon find out. We don't necessarily know that. I don't understand how we've used more time. There we go. So they are going to attach over there. We've got no more Crushing Hammers left, I don't think. 3, I think we only play 3. We are going to... We're going to take 2 of those off. I think the sensible thing is to get close to a knockout on that. And then do we Iono at this point? I think it makes the logical sense. Only then back down to 1. We've got 5 in hand, so we are a little bit safer, and we managed to get that, which is great. We've only got a few more turns on this, which is a frustrating thing. It is the worrying thing for this deck, because what we can do, the other option, is to attach and retreat. Oh, what are the chances? Okay, still seem to have bricked a little bit, so Painful Spoons, move those on to the Arcanine to take the knockout on the Arcanine. We get 2 prize cards on that, which is fantastic. We can that's one of those, and then we're only doing 10 damage, which is great. What we want to start doing now is trying to take that Buffalon out. That's going to cause the next issue for us. Who thought it could be done? Now I've got 1 attached. This is where it starts getting messy now, because I have got a Pidgeot on the bench, which means the Pidgeot is on its way. We don't like that, do we? Let's move some more over to there. And then again, to the 10. So this is starting to go down now. What we can do is switch between those Venomoths to get rid of the double turbo at some point soon. I don't think we're going to win it, to be honest. We are going to deck out before then. I don't realise that this is going on. I'm guessing the Pidgeot in hand. Yeah, it's still going to be a tough win for them. They have knocked themselves out, which causes us issues. What we can do at this point is retreat, bring in the Spidops, whatever we call it. Don't think it's quite doing enough, so we are going to Painful Spoons onto the Charizard, and we're going to boss in the Charizard. Are we taking a knockout? I don't think we are. We are. And that's how you win. Yeah. Against a Charizard, and don't give up halfway through and stop recording. Because there's always a chance you're going to win this, and I'm very surprised that happened with 3 in the discard, in the deck left. Fantastic way to win that game. Okay, so I do know what we're playing against here, because the current ranked ladder is just absolutely chock full of Charizard EX decks. I am playing against Sarah, my wife, who's playing the Gardevoir EX deck, which is similar to, very, very similar to decks that we've seen at Worlds and general competition. So it'll be an interesting matchup, because I'm not exactly sure how this is going to perform against one of, if not the strongest meta decks that's currently out there. So we'll see how we get on. If we can potentially lock something in the active, probably the best way to go. But we do get the VIP pass, which is great. So we are going to look for another Venomoth, and we're going to get the Mew as well. And then we're going to attach for turn. And I think there's not much else we can do, so we're going to pass. I have got the Luminion in the active. A bit of a shame. I'm assuming they either haven't got any more basics, or they've got a handful of VIP pass, which is usually the case. So they get the Mew and they get the Rolts. And the Mew is then probably going to Mysterious turn into another VIP pass, knowing my luck. Every time. Every time. This deck is just broken. It's just not fair. It is just not fair in the slightest. Here's me with my 2 Venonats and Mew. Probably going to get another one off this as well. There's mine. Does he get a Rolts? And they pass. Okay. Don't mind that. Don't mind that at all. We are going to Nest Ball for the... Yeah. Yeah, yeah, we're going to Nest Ball for the Radiant. We're going to attach to the Venonat. And then I think... What do we want locked in the active? Nothing at the moment. We are going to research... We need that Venomoth. We don't mind that too much. And then we're going to... There. And I think... Perplexing Powder for 30. We're going to drop that 30 on the Mew. That is then confused. But unless they can attach to the Mew for turn, it's locked in the active. The other issue is any of the basics that they have, so that Cresselia mainly can't actually attack at the moment because of that Pokemon League headquarters. They do Iono, which gives us another card. Another look at another card. So all of those go to the bottom. And we get actually not a terrible hand, because we can get that Tarountula set up, which does lock. I think is it attack? It's not attacks. It's the retreat cost. So when that evolves into the Spidops, we can actually lock that in place. And I think the Nest Ball. What do we go for Nest Ball? We go for another Tarountula. I think we do. I think we go for the second Tarountula. There are only 2 Spidops in deck, 2 Venomoths in deck. So yeah, I think the Tarountula. We've got a backup Venonat in play anyway. We are going to Ultra Ball away the VIP pass and the Pokemon League headquarters. I'm going to go for the moth. I think, yeah, go for the moth. And we can then play the moth down here for the backup and restart. See another card. Pokemon League headquarters. Okie dokie. And then we're going to Iono. And then we're going to start spreading with the Radiant Alakazam. Okie dokie, I like that. Get rid of the Cresselias. And then we can Painful Spoons to move 20 of these damage counters over to the Cresselia, which is going to be the big issue at the moment for us. It's not worth super rodding yet, but we are going to attach down here for that Tarountula because that Spidops' wire hang attack is the second attack that we get. It's the big attack that we're going to use with this deck. It's going to... let's have a look. Wire hang, this attack does 30 damage for each... Let me see. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the second Tarountula that was set up. The wire hang ability, this attack does 30 more damage for each energy in your opponent's active retreat cost. And for some reason, I'm either doing maths terribly, or I think I may have worked out. Yes, I have worked out why it's doing it. So, I might be totally wrong here, but your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost is 1 energy more. So currently this should be hitting the Mew for 90 plus 60, so 150. I believe that's how it works. I might be wrong. I don't think it stacks. I might be wrong. Not entirely sure it stacks. Doesn't say that it doesn't, but I wouldn't expect that it would say that on the card anyway, to be honest. We can evolve the Tarountula next turn. We have got the Mew in the active. We can spread damage to the Cresselia again. We're going to attach, evolve. We're going to spread from the Mew because we still got one more hit in it, so we can put that there, and do we want to super rod anything at this point? No, we're going to save the super rod until we've got energies to super rod in, because we're going to use Perplexing Powder for the knockout, not the knockout, for 50 damage on the Mew. We don't actually want the knockout. The point of this deck is to sort of lock something in the active and spread those damage counters. The issue we've got against Gardevoir is this Cresselia, because of that moon glow reverse, which at the moment it does need 2 energies on it. So we're hoping they don't get the Gardevoir EX set up. They have got the Shining Arcana Guardy set up, which causes us issues, obviously. So we're hoping that they don't get that set up. But next turn we are taking a knockout. It's probably going to be on the Mew, unfortunately. Unless we get boss, in which case I might actually boss the Cresselia in. We've got 3. Oh, this is... Someone's going for it. Got Curlier again, so they can refinement for another 2 cards. And they are going to... I like it. They are going to Mysterious Tail first. Potentially they might have got a VIP pass off that, which they could have refined away. They did get the Ultra Ball, who's probably going to play them into possibly the second Shining Arcana Guardy. So they are going to have 2 of those set up on the bench at some point soon. See if that's this turn or next turn. Because they do need the 2 attached to this for the retreat as well. When did I play Collapsed? Why did I not play Pokemon League Headquarters? That would have been the sensible thing to do. But we did. To be fair, them locked to 4 Pokemon on the bench is probably good for us. They're going to want to keep that refinement as long as they need it. Okie dokie. So move 2 off that. That's down to 40. So we are taking the knockout on the Mew next turn. Do we actually want to do that? I haven't really got much choice, so we might as well spread the damage from this onto the Cresselia again. The Cresselia is on 60, so it is almost... We are almost taking a knockout here. There's no energies yet, so we are going to Perplexing Powder for the knockout. That's the Mew gone. I imagine the Pokemon that they're going to bring into play is probably going to be that Cresselia at this point, because they can spread... They can put 40 damage counters at the moment onto the Venomoth. Potentially another 20 for 60. We will see. We will see. They are going to Brainwave by the looks of it. I don't like. They are going to take our Venomoth out. Refinement. We do have research now as well. I don't really want to get rid of that Ultra Ball. If we did Ultra Ball, the sensible option would be to get rid of the Nest Ball and the Manaphy. See what they do. Might be surprised. We can move those damage counters from the Guardy back to the Cresselia, and hopefully we can get to a point where we take the Cresselia out on the bench before it even gets into play. They are going to take knockout because they have got effectively 7 energies attached. An absolute beast. So it is doing 270 damage. Actually, we need to be careful of that. We need to be very, very careful of that. I've actually got no damage counters on it either, so I do think... Never think about this. I think we need to take that out. That has got to be taken out. Yeah. I'm going to Nest Ball for another Venomoth. Venonat first. Actually. Another Tarountula. Yeah, we're going to move the damage from the Guardy onto the Cresselia. Venonat. We've just got the one Venonat in there. We don't really want to use a Super Rod just yet. Research. We don't want to boss either. We are going to retreat into the Spidops because we need to take this Guardy out. It's going to cause us some issues. We want to get rid of that because those 2 reversal energies can't actually get back into play now, which is good for us. We do want to get rid of those. The Cresselia now can hit for just 40. Unless they fill the bench and start spreading damage counters, it is just hitting for 40, which would be the play. It makes sense to do that. And they have got 2 psychic energies in place, so they do need 2 on this. So it's not hitting for any more than that unless they can get some more psychic energies in the discard, which they are going to do. But there is no way I can see that they can take this out this turn. Have I spoken too soon? 2, 3, 3, 16, 9. It's hitting from 180 at the moment. It isn't taking a knockout on that Zacian just yet. Where have they got in there now? Just the one. I'll need 2 more on it. Yeah. Ah, no. It can attack. Hasn't got the... How much is that slamming down? Okay, I like it. I didn't realise it was any Pokemon. That causes some issues now. That causes quite a few issues actually. I think I may have misplayed slightly here. Okay. There's no more energies. Nothing is attacking at the moment. So... as I said, it's only hitting for 180. What we can do is move the damage counters from the Cresselia onto it and hit for 200. That means we can take a knockout on that next turn. We've got another boss in hand as well. We can take I think now's also the time to use a Super Rod to get the Venonats back into play. Oops. And a Grass Energy. Because we don't play many energies in the deck, which also causes some problems. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of Manaphy, get rid of Research, just to get another Venonat in play. To the bench, and then we are going to restart for another card. Not the worst of cards we could have hoped for. And then we're going to hit for 180. And that leaves that with 20 HP left. Which does allow us to play boss next turn, bring something else in, and then move those damage counters from that to the Zacian to take the Zacian out, and potentially also take the Cresselia out. What are you doing? The refinement, okay. They seem to be looking for something. Are they going to use the... I hope not. I do hope not. I realise they're down to 10 cards as well. These Guardy decks burn through cards like there's no time left in the world. Are there any in very, very conscious of energies coming into play, because I think that is taking knockout potentially if they can start spreading those. Are they going to boss in the Mew? Are they going to take knockout on that? I don't think they are. We don't mind that. The Mew has got free retreat cost. So we can boss in the Cresselia next turn. Move 20 damage counters from the Cresselia to the Zacian for the knockout on the Zacian. And also take the Cresselia out, so we can get 3 prizes next turn. Which only leaves us with the 1 prize just to take. Which is probably going to be that Curlia unless it evolves next turn. Which I'm hoping it doesn't. We do need the second... So they've used the V-Star. Slightly concerned to see what they've actually taken out from that. Roar the Sword, okie dokie. There's not much more they could have done. Again, limited a little bit on energies at this point in the game. We use both of the reversals. Those Guardies are both set up to hit next turn. So, the play here, we are going to move the Cresselia into the active. We're going to then move 20 damage counters from the Cresselia to the Zacian. Which is what I love about this Radiant Alakazam. Really fantastic card. It's in Silver Tempest, I think. Was it? Yeah, Silver Tempest. We have got a switch, but we don't need to use that because we have got free retreat cost of the Mew, and then we can hit for 150 for the knockout on the Cresselia as well. So 3 prize cards in 1 turn, which is what this deck does quite well when it can, which isn't very often. Not very often. Okay. How many bosses? We've used all 3 bosses as well, so this is slightly to make things a little bit more difficult. 3 cards left in deck. That is 2 turns. That's getting the knockout. We're going to boss in the Mew. There is a potential. I have to take that out in 2 turns. If they switch these 2 around, the potential that they take the win here. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up. We have to have words later. We have to have words. We're going to use Colress. I think it does make sense to get some energies back. The Iono as well. Because Doesn't really matter. If they play themselves down to 1, we can hopefully assist in the deck out, shall we say. Get rid of the research and double turbo, which I'm probably going to come to regret. But I have that switch in hand. And I am going to... Oh. $210. They are taking knockout on the Spidops next turn. I am aware of that. But there should be enough energy in deck to be able to put 2 more in play on this Spidops. Should. Being the... Okay, I think that's game for us. 2 prize cards, fair play. They are taking another shot. They're not going out easily, but we are getting game now. So we are going to play the Spidops into the active. And as we said we were going to do, we are going to take 210, wire hang for the knockout on a Guardy deck. Which I didn't think we'd do, and it was very, very close. But this Venomoth can definitely do what needs to be done in some circumstances. So, fire deck box, a dark coin. I wonder what we're going to play against here. Any guesses? Any guesses? Drop your guess in the comment section. I have no idea what we're going to come up against. I have no idea whatsoever. Yeah. I just don't know what the point in this game is anymore. There's just no variation whatsoever. And it's frustrating. And I don't really think there's any way that can be stopped, is there? Ban Charizard EX. There's that option. Yeah, just people furiously typing in the comment section. Right, let's crack into it. Let's see what we can do. So we do start with the Nest Ball. We don't start with the VIP Pass, which is a little bit, not frustrating, but get the other Venomoth, Venonat. And there's not much more we can do, so I am just going to pass. Slightly better turn would have been good, but can't win them all, can we? We won the coin flip, which is good for us. Slightly better than usual. Ooh, Victini. V-Bullet. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon V, this attack does 50 more damage. Okay. Discard all energy for 120. Does it do anything else? I'm not very familiar with that card, to be honest. Yeah, and there's the bench with the Charmanders set up. So we're going to start. Oh, okay. Little poke with the tail on fire for 20. How very dare you. Slightly offended by that. Slightly offended. But, there we go. There's the grass energy. I was slightly worried that we weren't going to see that. But I am going to Crushing Hammer. We've got 2 of those. So we're going to flip heads twice. We're not going to flip heads twice. We're going to flip heads on the second one. Are we? No. They're coming out of this deck, they are. I don't really want to get rid of Boss this early on, but I think we're going to have to because we want to... Did we play the risky play? You know what? We want the content, don't we? We want the... we want the content. Let's play the risky play and let's restart and hope we get Venomoth off it. We do get Colress, so we've got a chance at Venomoth here. We do get Venomoth. Fantastic. So it did pay off. We're not going to need the Manaphy. Don't think. Well, I'm going to get the research. I'm going to get rid of one of those Venonats as well, which I'm not a massive fan of. But we're going to have nothing else to play next turn. We do want to try and lock things in place with that Spidops EX as well. So we're going to Perplex in Powder and pass. And then we do have Professor's Research. If I can say any more words with P in, I think my tongue might fall out. So we're going to use Professor's Research next turn unless we get Ionoed. Either way, really, we're ending up with more cards than we've got. We can start spreading quite early on as well. I'm okay with that, you know. I'm fairly happy with that. So I'm going to use Scratch for another 30, and that would... Is it 30? The knockout. No, they're not, actually. Yeah, they are. They are. I always forget that. So they are going to knock the Venomoth out. Which is slightly frustrating, because if one of these Crushing Hammers would have worked last turn, we'd be in a slightly different boat. It didn't. So this is going to be a fire deck, so it's going to be a tough deck to beat. It doesn't write us... I did maths really badly then. Really badly. I thought we were on 30 for some reason. We are going to Crushing Hammer to start with. We're going to try and get rid of... Yes, thank you. 1 out of 3 is not bad, is it? Is it? I don't know. I think it is pretty bad. Get another... Ooh. Go for the Tarountula. Try and get another Spidops, backup Spidops set up. We're going to attach for turn here. So we've hopefully at some point get one of the... yeah, they're going to evolve next turn, which is the frustration. We want to get rid of these Charmanders, I think. We're not too worried about the Pidgey. Although they are... How have I got it? Can't use research. That last turn. Okay. I thought we had research. Do we Iono? No, we don't want to give them any more cards. They evolved that very, very quickly, that Charmeleon. But you know what? I don't think it's worth it yet. I've got Iono for next turn then. And start spreading on these two, because if they can't get the Charmeleons out, and I think they're probably only playing one Charmeleon in the deck as well. They are going to evolve into the Charizard this turn. But it probably would have been slightly better to start building up this Spidops for that the attack called Wire Hang attack. Obviously that's hitting for weakness as well, which is great. They haven't got the play here. We are onto a winner. Gotta evolve the other one. Have they not gone out? What's the point in confusion? What is the point in confusion? Okay. Ideally, what is that? Okie dokie, so we're going to attach down there. We're going to Nest Ball for that second. We got any Venomoth? Yeah, we've got 3 in deck. That's loads. Where do we start spreading? We're going to move them again, straight from the Charmeleon. Onto the other Charmander. I've just realised they've played 2 Charmeleons, which is unusual. Usually like a 4. Oh, there we go. There's the Venomoth. We can evolve that. We've already got... Yeah, I think we just Perplex in Powder for another 30 and hope that they haven't just got the Charizard off that. We have used 1 Iono. We've got another one in hand as well, which is great. That Victini worries me because I don't know what it does. This is ideally the best Pokemon to lock in the active as well. I think I might actually boss that into the active next turn. Ooh, okay. Let's have a look. Let's have a look, see. Spreading Flames, attach to 3 energy cards from your discard pile. Okay, they are switching in the Mew. Are they going to take the knockout on the Mew, or are they just trying to be difficult? Because that's... They're going to have to take the knockout on the Mew, or else that's not really doing anything. Max victory 100, active Pokemon is Pokemon V. So I don't think there's any way they're taking a knockout here unless they evolve that Charmeleon into a Charizard EX. But we'll see. They're going to go for the max victory because it is only doing 100. Be interesting to see what they do. Okay, so they're going to almost knock themselves out, which we don't mind. They've switched the Mew into the active, so it is a free retreat. Which we don't mind. We don't mind that at all. I think what we're going to do is boss in the Torkoal, keep that in the active. Then we can lock that in the active. And we can also shift. Get the Venomoth in the active first. We can also shift 20. We only need to shift one from the Charmander to the Charmeleon for the knockout. So both at 5 now. We're going to take this, and it's going to be something good. Yeah, it's not terrible. Then we can play that, and then we're just going to Perplexing Powder because we can start building up the damage counters on this Torkoal. Then it is a basic. The attack, it needs 3 to do that 30 attack Stampede. We've also locked it in for another retreat. Energy for retreat. So we have got that. So they do need to switch to get the Charizard in play. Unless they stack all 3 onto this and attach for turn. Which is always an option. If they do that, they're not attacking with the Charizard, and then we can take the knockout with the Spidops there. So, see what they do. This is an interesting one. Yeah, okay. So even if they attach for turn, they're still not getting an attack off, which we don't mind. Okie dokie. Perplexing Powder. It is again. We're going to evolve that. And then we're going to start attaching to this Venonat so that we're ready if we need to next turn. I think we move 20 from the Torkoal to the Charmander. Let's try and get that knocked out. Because then it's on 50. So it's again 2 more turns. So unless they evolve it next turn. And I think with 2 cards in hand, we are just going to leave them where they are. And you start sticking energies on the Spidops next turn. We can start spreading onto the Charmander and the Pidgey. They're going to look for a switching option here, I would imagine. Probably the logical thing to do. And tool card wise, not entirely sure what they'll look for. Soon find out. Very rare these Charizard decks actually play any switching options though. And they haven't. So, actually going to do anything? There's no switch out here. I wouldn't have thought there is anyway. I'd have played it by now. I think they might just be stalling for time, but we don't necessarily know that. They might be weighing up options for the next turn. This is the thing with this deck. A lot of people get that Charizard hitting quite quickly. For me, and I don't play it, so I don't really know how the deck works, but I don't know, I'd get that Pidgeot. I'd use the rare candy for the Pidgeot. Just to start that one working. I'm just going to move the 1 from the Torkoal, just to knock the Charmander out. I'm going to leave that on 30. We're taking another knockout there. Get another boss. Now, there is an option. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to try and take the Pidgey, and then we can switch in the Charizard and use the Spidops for the knockout. But I'm just going to Perplexing Powder for another 30, because unless they attach... We've got 2 turns with this Torkoal, unless they've got a switch, which I don't think they have. They're not going to evolve a Charizard, so they're not going to be able to get any more energies than just the 1 attach for turn here. As soon as we get to a point where they stop bricking, I think it's time for the IO now. Because we could do with a slightly better hand. Don't really want to play it though, that's the problem at this point. Yep, so we're going to start spreading onto the Pidgey now. Painful Spoons. And we're going to move 20 there, and we're going to move 20 there. This is hitting for enough to take the Charizard EX out as well. That's why I'm not spreading anything onto that. I do tend to forget that. I think it's the right time as well to use Super Rod, and we're going to get the Venomoth and that back into deck. Still think it's literally just the Perplexing Powder 30. Yeah, they're just going to keep switching now. There's not much they can do. They've still got that, what I imagine is a horribly bricked hand. So another 20 onto the Pidgey. And yeah, we're going to Perplexing Powder again. And after we've shifted the 2 from the Torkoal to the Pidgey next turn, we're going to boss and switch. And take the Charizard out, which leaves them with the... Do we want to do that? I want to start stacking damage counters on this Victini as well, because... Yeah, we're going to take the knockout on the Pidgey. The Pidgey's gone. Another prize card. That does just leave us with the 3 now. I would be very, very surprised if they actually put anything else on the bench. We need anything else at the moment. My Colrus for that. Ultra Ball and another switch would be useful. And then we can evolve the second Venonat into the Venomoth. And then we can stack another 30. It all adds up. Slowly over time. Very, very slowly over time, actually. What does this do? Okay. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because it gives us something else to spread damage counters onto, if that's the plan, which I don't think it seems to be. Okie dokie. Yeah, I'm just going to start spreading onto the Victini. I think it's the best way to go. We do only need 10 turns. Only 10. It has got a retreat cost of 2. Means that this is doing 150. I always get the math wrong on that, so it might actually not be doing 150. And then we're going to Perplexing Powder for another 30. Obviously, we get quite close as well. What you can do is start stacking. We can put the double turbo potentially on this. Retreat with the double turbo. And that just knocks that Perplexing Powder down to 10. So you can keep that in the active for a little bit longer. We've got enough on it as well to be able to keep it in the active for 1-2 more turns. We're going to spread and spread. And yeah, Perplexing Powder again. 110. We can go once more with the Perplexing Powder, or we need to attach the double turbo. Can we? And down to 90, up to 120. Yeah, I think we can. No, yeah, we can. We can. Getting the math and the counts right there. So we're going to move another 20 over there. And then we are going to, again, Perplexing Powder. And then once we've switched next turn, once we've moved the damage next turn onto the Victini, we can attach that double turbo. Don't think it's a terrible time to Iona. I've totally lost track of how many cards they have in hand. I'm really surprised they're not playing anything to the bench, to be honest. It doesn't... Got Pidgey down, so I think... Spread again onto the Pidgey. Move damage counters from here to the Pidgey. That's there. Flaxen powder for 10. Strange that they're not doing anything. I don't know whether I should be concerned about that. I don't think I need to be. I don't think I need to be concerned at all. As soon as we knock that Pidgey out, we can boss in the Charizard, switch in the Spidops, and then we're done. Very interesting route that they're taking. Unless they've got a rare candy Pidgeot, which causes us some issues. Obviously, yeah, okay. So we have got knockout now. We are going to painful spoons from the Torkoal onto the Pidgey for knockout. I'm going to take that, and then we just need the 2 prizes. So the easy option here is to boss in the Charizard, switch in the Spidops, and wire hang for 420 for the knockout. Another way, another slightly different deck. I haven't seen that Victini played. I'm sure it probably is. It's not special, but I haven't seen that Victini play very often. So this is a slightly different Charizard build, but it's still a Charizard build. Okie dokie, so we are playing against a Miraidon deck. Again, Sarah's helping me out here. Play something other than Charizard EX. So another big meta deck at the moment, obviously, is the Miraidon deck. So we are playing against that. It's just going to get even more powerful soon when Iron Hands comes into the meta, which hits for 120. And if you take a Pokemon out with that amp you very much attack, if I remember rightly, you take an additional prize card. So that's going to be played against Lost Box. It's going to be played in Lost Box. It's going to be played everywhere. It is going to do every single thing possible. I did get a mulligan, so hopefully we can get a VIP pass. Come on. Throw a VIP pass. Come on. No. Okay. Or boss. Either one. Either one. Okay, that Raichu frightens me. That Raichu scares the living daylights out of me. This is going to be a tough matchup. It's going to be a very, very tough matchup. This is a deck that, when Scarlet and Violet first came out, a lot of people were looking past. A lot of people were looking over. It's now massive on the competitive scene. A lot of people have picked this deck up and started playing with it because 2 reasons. It's reasonably easy to play with. Another reason, it does a job and it does it very, very quickly, which is the big, big positive for this deck. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. We are going to attach the Venonat. And then we are going to Iono. Not much we can do other than that. Okay, so we can get another Venonat in play, which is good. And other than that, we need to pass. Most of the Pokemon in play here are basics as well. So Pokemon League Headquarters is going to be quite good against this type of deck. The Mew, obviously the Radiant Alakazam are both vulnerable. They're both rule box Pokemon. I know this plays 3, if not 4 path. So that could cause us some issues. But we'll see how we get on. It's not a deck I've been particularly looking forward to playing against, but it's got to be done. We've got to show you what it can do, and I have a terrible feeling this is going to be the downfall of this deck. Yes, it can beat Radiant Charizard. I suppose at the moment I've said we've had to go away from the rank ladder just to try and get some games that are useful to actually put on for content. But if you are playing ranked, this isn't a bad deck to be playing. I'll be honest, it really isn't a bad deck to be playing against, to be playing with. Sorry, because it is grass. We've got that Spidops with the wire hang attack. That is being taken out next turn. So I'm going to switch into the other Venonat. It has got the wire hang attack, which hits for whatever it hits for. It hits for quite a lot. Against Charizard EXs, it's taking knockouts. The Venonat, when it evolves into the Venomoth, even though it's doing 60, if you can lock the Charizard in the active, it's hitting for 30 every time. You can spread damage counters with that Alakazam. Very nicely. Get 2 VIP Pass. Twice in a row. Which isn't the best of starts. It's not great. But you know what? We'll see what it can do. Because it might surprise us. As I said, because I've just been playing against Charizard EXs on the ladder, I don't actually know what this can do. I am going to get the Mew. No, it's not going to do much. And to be honest, it's a little bit of a liability. We can't actually do anything with Path in play, which is the frustration of most TCG players at the moment. I'm gonna say, if you're playing on live and you're playing against Miraidon, or you're playing against any deck with Path in, it is a massive frustration. But we can see that E marker in the corner there, which means it will go out of rotation in the next circulation. And we have got F. What else is going out of rotation? Not an awful lot. We do boss the Alakazam into the active. We do get research. Fantastic. So we can get rid of 2 of those VIP passes. We can get the Path out of the active. We can attach for turn on the Radiant Alakazam, and then we can retreat into the Venonat. Then we're going to have to pass because we did use Professor's Research, but we have got those Colruses for the next couple of turns. We have already burnt through 1 Pokemon League headquarters. If that Forest Sealstone goes and gets a Path, I'm not going to be friends with certain people. I am not going to be friendly. I do a pass. It is taking the knockout. Is the reason that I put that Venonat without the energy attached. So what we need to try and do now is very, very quickly. I had to basic. I had forgotten about that. So what we can do, I think the best thing here is to Colrus first and see what we get. So we do get the Venomoth, which is great. We can get Ultra Ball as well. I am going to have to give up on the boss and the other Venonat, just so that we can get the whole point of this deck started. I'm going to evolve that into the Moth. And I think I don't want to get rid of this. I want to keep that as long as possible. But I'm going to get rid of that and Colrus. It's a tough decision, to be honest, but we do need to get the Spidops in play, because that's probably the only thing that's gonna help this game and help us get a win in this game if we can. It's gonna be a tough one. It is gonna be a really tough one. I've got a lot of admiration for this deck. I think it's a fantastic deck. I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't play it. Very rare I actually do play this Miraidon deck, but things like this, it's little things. I mean, every single time they get heads. Every time. I've just put that Venomoth in play. Ah, it's cruel. It's just cruel. It's not nice. We did get the setup with the Iono last turn though, so we can get them down to 5 cards now. See what we can get. We do get the Moth. He's good. We can put that in play. We can Crushing Hammer. Hopefully we get heads. Can we get the same luck? No, we can't. It stops luck as well, this deck does. I don't know if anyone's explained that to you. The Miraidon deck actually has a specific build that stops people's good luck. So we are going to move damage counters onto the Mareeps. And then we're going to Perplexing Powder for another 30. They can retreat, so it's not a massive issue. They can retreat, they can attack. They've got 200 HP. If they slap a Bravery Charm, which they can't do, thankfully, because they've got that Forest Seal Stone attached. But if they do slap a Bravery Charm on any of these Pokemon, you're talking 250 for Raichu, you're talking 270 for the Miraidons, 250 again for the Raikou. So you're talking V-Star. That'll do us. That'll do us. You're talking V-Star HP, really. 4 V Pokemon. They're all basics as well. It's a special deck. It is a special deck. We could do really with... I'm going to regret this, aren't I? Yeah, I'm going to regret it. I knew I was going to regret that. Tarountula, Nest Ball, Venomoth. Getting rid of another grass energy there, which I don't really like to do. We're going to Nest Ball for a backup Venonat. We've got the moth in hand then as well. And we're also going to slap down a backup Tarountula. So next turn we can be evolving both of those. We're already up to 100 on the Raikou. Very, very slow deck to work with. But it definitely does something a little bit special. I would imagine the Miraidon's going to suddenly make an appearance shortly. But we'll see. No, they're just going to use... Breathe. Breathe. We can take knockout, but... Oh, actually... I think... we go for the knockout on the Raikou here. Because I haven't used the Seal Stone. Yeah, we're going to Iono them. Get rid of one card from their hand. I've realised I'm on 14 cards at the moment. Crushing Hammer, why not? Not doing much other than putting another card in their discard pile that they can attach to the bench. Attach down here. Yeah, we're going to Super Rod as well. We do need these back in the deck. Now I'm torn here. Do we take the knockout? We're not getting knocked out by the Miraidon, which is nice. I'm going to take the knockout. Don't know if this is the most sensible thing to do, but with Path in play, the Radiant Alakazam's not doing much, so we're going to take the knockout with the Spidops EX. We do take our first 2 prize cards. We're still in the fight. I'll be honest, it's more prize cards than I thought we'd take. So the Miraidon EX obviously can't take the knockout this turn. We very, very quickly went from losing that Forest Seal Stone, which was good for us, for them slapping it back down onto the Raichu. We have to get rid of Path, which I'm worried that we can't do at the moment. As long as we have this in play, I do think we're going to have to use the Spidops play here, though. I think the next target... biggest... what are we doing? What are you doing? Oh, that's just... that's not nice. That's not nice at all. That's the 2 prizer for them. Because we can't get that out of the active this turn. Unless we can find the switch off the Colress, which is always a potential, but... how do we do this? So, Ultra Ball away the VIP and the Manaphy for another Venonat. Add that to the bench. And then I think we Colress. Hope we get switch. We don't. We do get another Spidops. Or do we need that? We're going to take it into the hand just in... no, I don't think we need that. Energy, a research, and another boss. Frustratingly, they're taking knockout next turn on this Spidops. Purely because we've used a switch, and I've got a horrible feeling there's probably a switch over here. They are going to go down to 2 prizes now. They have got 1 card in hand, which is good. That is good for us. 1 prize in hand. They've got 0 energies. They are going to go into the Raichu. They're going to take knockout on the Spidops. Or is that 1 card? Is that 1 prize in hand? Is that 1 card in hand a boss? They have already used boss this turn. When did they use boss? Don't you dare take that one out. Like the tainted Spidops. Okay, fair enough. I don't mind that. They are set up for a knockout on the Spidops this Spidops next turn now, so... Mew. That path kills everything. Just, yes, thank you. Not anymore, it doesn't. We attach to the Spidops. I think we need to play... No. We're not taking a knockout, frustratingly. Pretty close. Pretty close. We'll give them the damaged one. Just taking it. I always forget that these how these work. We are going to play another Tarountula to the bench. We can as well use restart now, which we're going to have to do because we can't use research. Come on. Could have stayed in the deck. Then we're going to use wire hang for the 180 for the knockout. Again, this isn't really a Venomoth deck at this point. It's the Spidops deck. But we'll see what we get. We have got 2 cards. I think we're going to deck out, to be perfectly honest. Unless we can take 2 quick successive knockouts on the Flaffies. Boss. Potentially. It is a play that could happen. That helps. That does help. Gives us 1 more prize. 1 more card in deck. Okay, they're going to what are they going to tandem unit for? That might be the difference. Now, the question I have here... If we evolve that other Tarountula, does it stack another 30 damage? If it does, we've got game. Only if we can get that in play, which is going to be tough. This is a tough play. It's a very, very tough play. Doing 180, which isn't quite enough, but ooh. Let me do this before we deck out. That's the question. How many energies? I've got 2 energies, so they can use lightning. They can't use lightning rondo because of Pokemon League headquarters. Can't do it. They can retreat. They can't retreat either. They can't retreat unless they can attack. Oh, they attach for turn and then attach from. They can't. They can't do it. Don't think it can be done. They can't switch unless they've got a switching option. If they've got escape rope, we're stuffed. Okay. Okie dokie. That would also do it. Okay. Okay, okay. I don't mind that at all. I can't believe this. I genuinely cannot believe that. And we take wire hang for 180 for the knockout on the Raikou. It was down to those Raikous, and thankfully Bravery Charms weren't on them, because if the Bravery Charms, there's the last switch, if the Bravery Charms were on those Raikous, we wouldn't have been able to do what we just did. So it is an interesting little deck concept. I do really like this deck, to be fair. It was fantastic for climbing the rank ladder. However, because the ladder is the way it is at the moment, we've just got Charizard EX after Charizard EX after Charizard EX, which, if you're just using this to climb it, fantastic. But for me, trying to put some videos together, it's very, very difficult to get content. So we had to get Sarah involved to get that Miraidon, to get the Guardy games in there as well. But it was good to see that it can compete. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't winning every single game. It's not a deck that's going to break any meta, but it does stand up really well against some of those Charizard EX decks, which is good. We love that. It's a cheeky little card, I'm not going to lie. It caused a lot of concessions, I'll tell you that for a fact. But that, again, coupled with the Spidops, which I don't think got a lot of play, I'll be honest. And I don't really understand why it didn't get an awful lot of play, because this Wire Hang is very similar to a lot of other attacks that have come in from other Pokemon that came out in this set. But you know what? At the time, Grass probably wasn't the best of types of cards to be playing. So now, with Charizard EX and a lot of those dark decks coming out, it's probably a good time to start playing decks like this. If you do like this content though, guys, remember to drop a like and drop a comment in the comment section. Just let me know what you change about this deck. As I've been playing it, I have thought of a few other bits and pieces that I'd probably put in there and change around a little bit. But as a little bit of a starter skeleton, it's probably a good deck list to get your hands on. The deck list will be in the description, and if you do like the content, remember, subscribe, because there will be a load more content like this coming to the channel soon. We've got Paradox Rift just around the corner. We've got more content like this. There's going to be loads of 151 openings still to come, so keep your eye on the channel and hit that notification bell so that you're notified every single time one of these videos goes live. But until next time, thanks for sticking around, guys.